Pixar's Inside Out 2 was a must-win scenario for Disney, but at what cost? As news of the nightmare scenario inside of Pixar surfaces, bigger questions about cost, viability, and workplace ethics rise and give an inside look at how Pixar makes their movies.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Pixar's recent journey seems like a classic redemption arc. After facing challenges like the pandemic, Hollywood strikes, and several underwhelming box office results, the studio desperately needed a success, and Inside Out 2 delivered, becoming the highest-grossing Pixar film and the top-grossing animated film of all time, bringing in over $1.6 billion globally. However, the film's success is bittersweet for many employees who worked on it. Earlier this year, Pixar laid off 14% of its workforce, leaving many to face financial hardships, all while dealing with what some described as unprecedented crunch time during production. Crunch time often refers to intense periods of work, often towards the end of a project, where employees are required to work long hours, sometimes 7 days a week, to meet deadlines. It's most prevalent in industries like gaming, animation, and tech, where the final push to release a product or complete a task becomes overwhelming. While initially considered an occasional necessity, crunch time has become a recurring issue, especially in the gaming industry, where strict timelines are imposed by publishers and investors. The negative effects of crunch time are widespread, affecting both employees and the companies they work for. Workers often experience mental and physical exhaustion, decreased morale, and in extreme cases, long-term health issues. This can lead to a high turnover rate and affect the company's reputation. While some studios are moving away from crunch time, it remains a pervasive issue that hurts both the creative teams and the final products themselves. At Pixar, animators worked up to 7 days a week, with production workers being pushed into unfamiliar roles under intense pressure. Sources describe the crunch as one of Pixar's worst. Many workers feel abandoned after rushing to deliver Pixar's much-needed hit, Inside Out 2. Financially, the situation is dire for many of the laid-off employees. One source estimates that 95% of those affected are now facing serious financial difficulties. Beyond the layoffs, former employees paint a picture of studios gripped by internal tensions, with fears of rocking the boat leading to the avoidance of controversial topics such as LGBTQ representation. Pixar's post-pandemic struggles began with Lightyear's underperformance, followed by mixed success with Elemental. Lightyear, despite high-profile marketing, was a financial disappointment, with the follow-up Elemental performing only slightly better. According to Pixar insiders, films need to gross at least $600 million to be profitable for the studio, with $1 billion mark representing a true hit. Lightyear grossed $226 million globally, and Elemental $500 million respectively. According to one source, Disney leadership partly blamed the same-sex kiss for Lightyear's failures. This viewpoint was echoed by internal frustrations at Pixar, where LGBTQ employees protested what they saw as Disney's censorship of overtly gay affection. The financial disappointment of these films led to the increased pressure on Inside Out 2, which was seen internally as critical to Pixar's future. Pete Docter, while officially the executive producer, took an uncredited co-director role, but insiders noted a bottleneck in the creative process due to his influence. Inside Out 2 faced additional challenges such as pressure to tone down the gay themes, leading to numerous edits to maintain a universal appeal. The development of Inside Out 2 was influenced by a reluctance to engage with gay themes, according to multiple sources. There were ongoing directives to ensure Riley, the main character, appears as less gay, especially in her relationship with Val, a new supporting character. Edits were made to ensure that interactions seemed strictly platonic, involving changes to lighting and tone to avoid any perceived romantic chemistry. One source describes the efforts as extensively aiming to eliminate any integration of non-straight dynamics between the characters. This led to mounting pressure on Inside Out 2. Nearly every Pixar employee contributed to the film in some capacity, with one source noting the credits for Inside Out 2 are longer than any previous Pixar movie due to the sheer number of people involved. Some workers even feared that Pixar's future depended on the movie's success, as if it was a life-or-death scenario for the studio. In addition to this, Inside Out 2 also had to deal with the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. Despite these hurdles, and even as other films were pushed out of 2024, Pixar held firm on its release date for Inside Out 2. This insistence on maintaining the timeline persisted despite last-minute rewrites. As you can see, entertainment has become increasingly expensive to produce. In 2024, the average budget for a Disney film ranges between $150 to $250 million. This includes animated and live-action films, although larger blockbusters like Marvel or Star Wars films usually exceed this range, with budgets sometimes reaching up to $400 million or more. While very few films cross the line into becoming massively successful, the big films are also losing Disney money. The biggest box office flops of 2023 included several high-profile films such as The Marvels, which lost an estimated $237 million. Other films like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny lost $143 million, and Wish, Disney's animated feature, lost $131 million, despite being part of Disney's 100th anniversary celebration. As films continue to rise in price, studios can address these issues by being more efficient, they can budget better, they can streamline the production, they can do everything else that Inside Out 2 did not do. Inside Out 2 was a scenario where Pixar just threw money at a problem, then threw the people who made the film under the bus. Was it worth it? No. While Disney makes billions, 95% of the people who made this movie are struggling financially. The employees that were terminated didn't even get a bonus on the film, and on top of that, Pixar pays already comparatively low wages. Though one can't overlook the nightmare scenario that made Inside Out 2 a success, there's another thing that people can't ignore. The fact that Universal stories appeal to everyone and make a lot more money at the box office. Films with universal appeal make the most money because they effectively reach and resonate with a global audience. By focusing on common human experiences and emotions, these films overcome cultural and language barriers, allowing them to perform in various markets. This broad accessibility leads to higher ticket sales, greater merchandise revenue, and enhanced opportunities for additional income streams, making them financially successful for studios and investors. While there's nothing wrong with anyone being gay or wanting to tell a story like that, it also represents a smaller minority of people, and the larger audience may not connect with those stories, or it may turn off another portion of the audience. While it's highly unlikely that LGBTQ issues are the only reason that killed Lightyear outside of it being irrelevant, it's interesting to see that Disney wants these things out of their entertainment. A lot of online critics like to call everything woke this or woke that, and there's some validity to the over-politicization of the entertainment we have today. Everyone's got to have their story represented, there's an agenda, and if you don't like it, it's the end of times because it's so offensive. While WCBS has no stake in Inside Out 2's success, hell, I haven't even seen the first film, nor do I ever intend on watching it, you can't deny the fact that when you make something more universal, more people will go watch it. The only thing I'm pissed off about is the fact that Mario has been beaten by Disney. Universal, if you're out there, re-release Mario. The Nintendo fans will go see it a couple more times to put this damn film to rest. But folks, that's a topic for another day, so let me know what you think down in the comments below about all of this, and subscribe to WCBS for more. If you'd like to be a part of this channel, join our Patreon page. Starting in October, you'll begin to be featured as an executive producer here on the channel. It's our own little way of saying thank you, but there's all sorts of perks that you get for being a patron as well. So folks, go to patreon.com/worldclassbs, and if you want to see more of us, well, we're over on X, Rumble, and TikTok. And also, I'd like to thank everybody for joining our Facebook page. We've crossed our goal, and now we can get monetized. So folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back next time with more. Join me tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show and a whole lot more. But until then, folks, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Stealing Solo asks the greatest what-if question of all time. What if a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement? That, and a whole lot more, is answered in Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. Stealing Solo has been called Laugh Out Loud Funny and the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs, and it's available now for a limited time only. Go to stealingsolo.com, which is powered by Shopify, so you get the reward-winning safety and security, and get yourselves a copy today. Once we sell through this limited backstock, I'm going back to the drawing board to bring you the sequel, which parodies Luke Skywalker's fall from grace, and finally the closing chapter, which I can't wait to get to, Frankenfisher, the Bride of Solo. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. So folks, the only way to get that is go to stealingsolo.com right now, get yourselves a copy, and enjoy the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs.